everybody, I'm Deanna Lyles, one of the librarians with the Haywood County Public Library. Today we're going to do a DIY banana bread. I got my recipe from one of our online databases, Films on Demand, and online on our website there's going to be a recipe with the directions of how to access the video that I used or that I followed, Baking Fundamentals, Success in the Kitchen. It's a great video. It had a segment on banana bread, and it had many more segments that you might find of interest. This video is designed for teens to make their own banana bread, but I can see adults being interested in it. And also I could see families maybe doing this together. So you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 cup of butter softened, and I've left these sticks out this morning so that they could soften up, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 eggs beaten. I've got my eggs hiding in here. I'll get those out in a moment. And 2 1/3 cup ripe mashed potatoes. That's about 4, sorry, not potatoes, bananas, not potatoes. So 2 1/3 cup of mashed ripe bananas, and that would be about 4 bananas. You're also going to need a loaf pan, or you can also turn these into muffins, so muffin tins. But you're going to need to spray it or coat the inside of the pan with butter so it doesn't stick. So I'm going to start by doing that. Just give it a good spray. And we'll just let that sit to the side. Then we're going to start with our dry ingredient. We're going to do 2 cups of flour. I'm going to start with a smallish or medium-sized bowl. When you're measuring your flour, a good rule of thumb is to not do heaping cups. So you're going to want to make sure that you level off what you've got. And a knife is a table knife is a good thing to do that with. And put your flour in. That's 1 cup. And I'm just using all-purpose flour. And 2 cups. Then we're going to do a teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure it's level. Sprinkle that in. And we're also going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Be careful pouring that in so that you don't get too much. Again, make sure it's level. Now we're going to mix that up. I meant to bring my egg beater from home because it's a really good tool, a whisk, to mix this up so that you make sure that you incorporate the salt and the baking soda, but a spoon will work as well. Just get that stirred nicely. Next, you're going to take your butter. Now these are half sticks. A 1/2 cup of butter is a stick, so 2 half sticks is a stick. So I'm going to take it, and it's very soft, just like you want it, so it's easier to work with. And I'm just going to use my knife, and I'm going to pull off pieces and drop in this bowl. Let's get the other one. Now, here comes the fun part. You're going to have to put in some elbow grease. This is good upper arm workout. You're going to take the brown sugar, and I've already measured this out. At home, it's 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Make sure that you level off the top of your measuring device when you are measuring the brown sugar so you don't get too much. We're just going to dump that in there. Now, we're going to cream this together. So you've got the butter, softened butter, and the brown sugar. And you're just going to start working it. And just be patient and work it. If you've got a friend or a sibling, you could take turns. You want to get this incorporated in together. This is what I've got right now. It looks a little crumbly. I don't want it to be quite so crumbly. So I just keep going at it. So I pretty much have the brown sugar and the butter incorporated. It looks kind of like this. Now I'm going to take my 2 eggs. I'm going to go ahead and whisk them using a fork. Just crack your eggs. Use a fork to whisk them together, then you're not having to work to get the eggs mixed in with the brown sugar and the butter. So just get them mixed up, then you're just going to pour them in. And all of that gets mixed up together. So you've got egg, butter, and brown sugar mixed up together, and that's your wet ingredients. It kind of ends up looking like this. Now it's time to mash our bananas. So you're going to take your bananas, you're going to peel them. Peeling bananas is not quite as easy as it looks. Then I like to cut mine. Now that I have my bananas peeled, I need to mash the bananas. So using a fork is a really good way to do that. Cutting them into smaller pieces also helps. So just keep mashing away. So I finished mashing my bananas, and I've already put some of them in with the brown sugar, egg, and butter mixture. I'm going to add the rest. We're going to stir that to get it all nice and mixed together, but we're not going to go at it like we're furious or upset. Just a gentle stir so that things get mixed together and it looks something like this. Now, that's the rest of our wet ingredients. Now we're going to take our dry ingredients, our flour, baking soda, and salt, and we're going to mix it in. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Just a gentle stir so that things start coming together. Looks kind of like that. Let's add the rest of it. If you try to add all of that flour at one time, you end up with flour dust going everywhere. So just gently incorporate it. This is known as a pourable batter. It is called banana bread, but it's more of a cake consistency rather than bread. And just stir it up. Getting all of that incorporated. When you're done, it's going to look something like this. Then you're going to take your loaf pan. You're going to fill your loaf pan about halfway full with your batter. It's possible you might have some leftover batter, depending on your pan. You can make those into muffins or make another mini loaf, whatever you want to do with it, or depending on your pan, it may take the whole thing. Mine's looking like it might take the whole thing. We'll see. If you overfill it too much, it's just going to rise up above the pan. Just not the end of the world. you have it. Well, not yet. You have to bake it. So you're going to take this and bake it in a 325-degree oven for 50 to 60 minutes. This is about 40 minutes into the baking process. I wanted to demonstrate for you what it's like to put something in the middle of it, like a table knife or a toothpick, to test its doneness. So I've placed a knife in the middle, and I'm going to pull it out to see what it looks like. And I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but you can kind of tell there's some wet looking batter on there, so it needs some more time. So it goes back in the oven. The banana bread's been in the oven for about an hour. I'm going to test it again and see. And that comes out pretty good. I think it's pretty done. If you wanted to put it back in for a few more minutes, you could, but look how toasty brown it is. Now, the best practice is to wait at least 10 minutes before you try to slice it or remove it from the loaf pan. Give it time to cool so that it'll be easier to work with. Check out the recipe on our website, haywoodlibrary.org. Hover over Services and select Virtual Programming.